welcome to our leg workout. This is going to be a fun but slightly intense workout for the legs. So feel free to modify it. We'll do around 6 to 8 repetitions. If you want to just do 2 or 3. If you want to do more, it's totally fine. So feel free to modify it to your level. I have some ankle weights that I'm going to use about halfway through the sequence. So I'm not going to start with them. You could start with them. If you're feeling like you want a really tough workout today, feel free to go ahead and use them. These are 2 pounds, and that feels like it's a really nice weight for me. Again, if you want to use a little bit less, a little bit more, that's your call. So I'm going to grab a small cushion. So if you have like a little pillow or a little cushion you could use, it just helps to support your head and your neck a little bit. And we're starting on our side. Now, if it's comfortable for your shoulder, this arm should be right back in line with your spine. If that's not comfortable, you can have the arm in front and maybe a slightly bigger head cushion. The first sequence, we have the feet in line with the bottom. And we have a little bit of hip flexion, so could you just double check that you're not tucking the pelvis underneath you? So there is a crease across the front of the hips. Let's take a moment to notice, are we breathing? And is there a way that we could just feel more comfortable in our bodies? Can shoulders relax? Can the lower back relax? Can the whole nervous system just relax? And the first movement is an opening of the top knee. So we open the knee and then we close the knee. And it's just that. So you may know this one. I know it as the oyster, you may know it as the clam. And the intention is that we're moving from the hip joint, so we're not allowing the whole pelvis to roll back. We're also having a sense of opening as high as we can without allowing the pelvis to roll back. So we're trying to hit the full range of that external rotation. I would say around 8 repetitions. And then on the last one, just hold the leg up there. So keep the knee open and pulse for 10 or 20. And as it gets tough, keep breathing. And then you can rest. The next set is the same, pretty much, but we just start with both feet lifted. We're going to open the top knee as wide as we can without the pelvis rolling back, and then slowly close. So we're working the glutes here. So the glutes are the butt muscles, so this is going to really bring tone to your butt, but it will also really bring support to the back of your pelvis and to your lower back. If you have any issues with sciatica, you might just want to perhaps contact me or another healthcare professional before you do these. Not that it would be a bad thing to do, but it might just be nice to have that conversation. So we'll do around 8 repetitions, and then we'll do the pulses. So this is working your glutes, but it's also working your pelvic floor, believe it or not. You don't need to tighten your pelvic floor, but just have a sense that all of these muscles that live around the base of your pelvis will also be waking up and supporting this movement. So when you've done about 8, we'll do between 10 and 20 little pulses. Okay, and then rest. Well done, everyone. Bring your knees up a little bit higher. Let's give the butt a pat to release it. And then we're going to push ourselves up to sitting, swivel round, and do the same thing on the other side. So the arm is under the head in line with the spine. The feet are in line with the bottom, and we have hip flexion. Opening the top knee, and then closing the top knee. Without allowing the whole pelvis to roll back. 8 repetitions. You may also feel the underneath hip working, especially on this second side. So we never really work the muscles in isolation. You'll be working the glutes on both sides. And when you think you've done around 8, hold the leg up and then pulse for 10 or 20. Tiny pulses. Well done. And then you can give yourself a moment to recover. We lift the feet up, the feet stay together, and they're as high as possible, obviously still keeping the thighs on the ground. And then open the top knee and close the top knee. For 8, opening and closing. So we're breathing deeply, breathing naturally. And just kind of having a sense of enjoying the movement, even though it's possibly quite tough. I can really feel this one. But can you feel, what's the right word, almost, just a joy of getting stronger. Okay, we're going to hold the leg open and then pulse for between 10 and 20. So you can feel the challenge, but it means that you're getting stronger. Well done, okay. Bring the legs up, give the bottom a pat or a rub. Yeah, it's a challenge. It'll be interesting to notice the more that you practice this, if it gets less of a challenge. Okay, now it's optional to put ankle weights on, so if you have them and if you want to use them, now's the chance. And this is something that you can add to your workout. You don't need to do it today. You might find that as you get stronger in a few weeks' time that you want to add a little bit of a weight. Okay, then we're lying down on our back. So you may feel that you want a little cushion underneath your head. A moment to notice the spine. Can your head become heavier? Can your shoulders become more relaxed? Can your pelvis almost just widen and flatten? Now I'm going to start with my left leg, so I'm folding my left knee into a single knee lift. And then just placing it back down again. Super simple. So we're folding just the left leg up and then lowering it back down. It comes up and down and up and down. It's not too challenging, but you might start to feel your psoas working. You might start to feel your hip flexors waking up a little. Last 2. Next one, leave the leg up and extend it in front of you so you have a straight leg. We flex the foot and we lower the leg to about ½ an inch off the floor, point your toes and then slowly lift the leg all the way back up again. Flex the foot, lower the leg down. Point to your toes, lift the leg. Let's try for about 8 repetitions of this. Very common to have a clunky hip while doing this. And it's not unsafe. It can just feel a little bit off-putting and maybe a little bit uncomfortable. So if that is the case, make this smaller. So a smaller range of movement. And if you can visualise where your hip joint is, that's what I'd like you to do. Can you visualise the femur head moving within its hip socket? Perhaps you can slow the movement down a little. So femur head dropping into the hip socket as you lift the leg. After about 8 repetitions, we're going going to lift the leg so it's roughly at a 45-degree angle. So that's kind of roughly, you've got your thighs in line. Turn the leg out like a ballerina or like Charlie Chaplin. And we'll just do 6 small leg circles in each direction. 6 one way, 6 in reverse. I can really feel my legs working with this one. I can really feel my hip flexors. Okay, and we'll bend the knee, lower the leg. And repeat on the other side. So we're starting off with that simple knee fold. Flexing at the hip. So if any of you are very clunky with the straight leg, you can go back to this variation. Just this nice simple hip flexion. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine just folding at the hip? Femur head is dropping down and rolling away. Okay, when you think you've done your 8, lift the leg and extend it. Flex the foot. Lower the leg down with a flexed foot to about ½ an inch off the ground. Point the toes and then very slowly fold the leg back up again. So flex and lower. And then point and lift. Flex and lower. Point and lift. Notice the alignment of your head and neck. I just caught myself with my chin a little bit too high, so you could perhaps check out for yourself. Is your neck still long and relaxed? Are your shoulders still relaxed? And when it feels like you've done about 8, we finish with the leg lifted, turned out, and then 6 small leg circles in both directions. Okay, fab. We're going to roll over onto our side. So a very similar position to the oysters that we did, but this time let's have your legs at a right angle, so knees in line with the hips. We shoot the top leg out and it should be at hip height, so it's not dropping down, so at hip height. And then we lift the leg up just by a couple of inches and then lower it down by a couple of inches. So we lift and lower. And lift and lower. Can you see how small the movement is? Let's do between 8 and 10 repetitions. Are you breathing? Are your shoulders relaxed? Is your face relaxed? Because we're not just training the glutes and the legs, we're training everything. Your body is in constant training. So when you've done 8 or 10, have a little rest. And then we shoot the leg straight back out. Now the next one, the leg comes forwards. Then we lift it up a couple of inches, lower it, and take it back. The leg comes forwards from the hip joint. It lifts, it lowers, and it comes back. Forwards, lift a little bit, lower a little bit, and back. Forwards, lift, lower, and back. Let's try 8 all together. Forwards, lift, lower, and back. So fantastic to strengthen your legs and fantastic to strengthen your joints and your bones. After about 8, bring the leg in, a moment to recover. And then the last one for the outer thigh. We're going to reach the leg out, bring it forwards to about 45 degrees and turn it in and come into 20 pulses, tiny pulses. bottom another rub or a pat, and then we'll push all the way up and swap sides. You're doing a great job. Arm under head, knees up at hip height. Beautifully relaxed, lengthened spine. And then we shoot the top leg out. So the first one is super simple. We just lift the leg and lower it back to hip height. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. With this top hand, if you just touch your waist, can you notice how firm it is? How you're not just toning the legs and the glutes, you're also toning your waist and your abdominals without even really trying to. So remember, I'm not asking you to suck your tummy in, to pull it in, but just notice how it works anyway. It's important that our muscles learn to work in an adaptive fashion. And when you think that's about 8, bring the leg in. Give yourself a moment to rest and recover. And then we have the glass table. So we shoot the leg out, flex the foot. The leg comes forwards, but not very far. Lift it, lower it, take it back in line with the spine. So it comes forwards, lift, lower, and back. Very small movement, really controlled. Lift, lower, and back. Forwards, lift, lower. Well done. 8 of these. And can you enjoy that sense of challenge and that sense of your muscles getting stronger, getting more toned, giving you more shape? Bring the leg in, take a moment, and then we're going to finish with those 20 pulses. So the leg goes out, it comes forwards, it turns in, and then we pulse for 20. Really small. Okay, bring the leg in, give your bottom a rub. Let's just take a moment. I'd like you to roll onto your back. Give yourself a moment to recover. We'll keep the weights on. Just pop your left ankle bone on your right thigh bone. And you may already feel a stretch because they've worked really hard. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, reach for the back of the thigh and hold on to it. Pull it in towards you. And just take a few moments to stretch and to rest and to breathe. And then we can lower both legs and swap sides. So right ankle bone on the left thigh bone. Just notice, is that enough of a stretch? And you can just stay there. Otherwise we lift the left leg up and hold on to the back of the left thigh. Wonderful, let's lower both legs down. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So rolling over onto your side and coming all the way up. We're going to do these on our hands. If you need to come down or up onto knuckles or fists, that's totally fine. Or if you want to come down onto elbows, that's also fine. Okay. Let's start with the right foot and the right leg. We're flexing the foot, keeping the knee bent, and then pushing the leg up towards the ceiling, and then lowering it down, 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 down. So we're lifting up, and lowering down, down, down. Lifting up, and down. The back may arch a little bit, but it shouldn't really collapse. I'm actually thinking of tucking my pelvis underneath me as if I'm doing the cat. So there may be a little movement in the pelvis, but it shouldn't be arching. You shouldn't be arching the back. Let's do a round 8. And then we'll keep the leg lifted. So lift and hold and pulse for 10. Fantastic. Lower the leg, repeat on the other side. Flex the foot, push into the hands, lengthen the head, lengthen the neck, and lift, and then slowly lower. Now we're aiming to get the knee up in line with the hip joint and in line with the spine. It might not happen, but that's the aim. So fantastic for your hamstrings. Can you feel the backs of the legs working as well as the butt? And when you think you're on number 8, we'll keep the leg lifted and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1, and then rest. Last one. If your wrists are still okay, we're going to stay here. And then we're lifting the leg out to the side and lowering it back down. Alternate sides. Lift out to the side and lower it down. And lift and lower and lift and lower. How high can you get this leg? The pelvis does move as we're doing this one. We go a little bit higher on this next one. Let's try another 2 to each side. Fantastic, everyone. Okay, we'll come off of the wrists, give them a little bit of a shake or a massage. Finally, on hands and knees, let's roll all the way up into the cat. Drop your pelvis back towards your heels to give your spine an extra stretch. Come forwards, and then uncurl. Roll up, roll back, forwards, uncurl. 2 more. Roll up and back, forwards, uncurl, up, back, forwards, uncurl. Lift your right arm up and twist your spine as far as you can, and then place it back down. Other way, lift up, 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 and place it down. 1 more each side, lift up, 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 rotate the chest, and down. Well done. And then let's take our ankle weights off. And let's sit for a moment. Just notice, how do you feel? I feel very much in my body, very aware of my body. I feel energized, and I kind of feel raring to go for the rest of my day. So thank you so much. Imagine if you did that one a couple of times per week, how much it would really tone your legs and your glutes and really build strength. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.